What's up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're doing well today. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a new knife from Bergblade. Let's get into it. All right, guys, I'm not going to delay this too long. We're actually going to be checking out the Tick from Bergblades. Very excited to get to check this one out. It is a review sample. It is not my personal knife, but I really liked the way that this one looked. I liked the spec sheet on it, the steel, the materials being used is definitely a premium knife to be sure. On this particular version, you have titanium with shred carbon fiber inlays on both the show side and the non-show side. Titanium pocket clip. This is a really good clip. It works very well designed and it works really good. I'm looking at number 27 of 30, just in case you are able to see that. If not, it is. Just take my word for it. Nice access to the lock bar. You have a flipper and a fuller for deployment, and you have a hollow ground S90V clip point blade with jimping on the top for traction. You got ceramic bearings in the pivot. Really nice action here. Very satisfying to deploy. Great sounds. Nice jimping on the flipper as well. You can also light switch and you can push button. I prefer the light switch on it. I'm not a big push button type person on the knife. I took it downstairs to cut with it. Very slicey, guys. Went through the catalog paper. Felt like a factory fresh edge. I don't know if it is or it is not. And then going through the cardboard, it was an absolute laser beam. I mean, this thing has a super thin hollow grind on it. The clip point blade was not bad. It would do in a pinch for a pinch grip detailed cut, but it's definitely not ideal for that. I wouldn't say this would be my first pick for it. Now, as far as the ergos go, while I was cutting with it, I did notice that there is a little bit of an issue with this one. I love the look of the knife. Love it. Unfortunately for me, in a power grip or whatever you want to call it, the scallop sections land right in the middle of the middle finger and right in the middle of the pinky finger. Now, it is chamfered. It's not a super sharp scallop, but I will say I did notice when I was gripping on the knife, I could feel that digging in a little bit. I will say they did a nice sharpening choil here that was really scalloped well and chamfered well. So if you go into a trigger grip, you can avoid both those sections. It allows you to move the middle finger up a little bit, avoid the scalloped sections or the protruding sections completely, and you can use this knife comfortably. But if you need to choke up, just know, or if you need a power grip to kind of muscle through a cut, if you're cutting through something dense, you are going to feel that a little bit. And I will say I feel it more on the pinky than the middle finger, even though the middle finger lands there, but I think it hits enough of the meat, and I just don't have enough meat on the bone for the pinky. So unfortunately, ergos are a little bit of a miss. Really, again, I just like the design. I would have loved for the scallop section to just be brought up and just be for the index finger, and have this section be a little bit bigger to have room for all three fingers to land on it for me. That would have been perfect to move that up, and you could still have a little bit of flair or style to it so that it's not just one big sweeping scallop from front to back, although that would have worked as well. And that's really it as far as feedback is concerned. It has milling on the scales internally for weight reduction, which is great because you're dealing with all titanium here. I love the way they did the backspacer here. I would even say come up a little bit more, make it 3/4, and have it stop right here where this little hump is, and then have this part poke out towards the tip. That would have been really cool in my opinion. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. We'll weigh the knife, and then we'll give it a final score and thoughts and impressions. All right, so I wanted to do something large and something small here because it is an 8-inch knife, but when you take into comparison against the Benchmade bug out, where you actually have the footprint for your hand to actually land when you line it up with that flipper tab, you actually have more space on the actual bug out. And then when you compare the cutting edge on the knife, even though it is 8 inches, it's very close. You have just a skosh more cutting edge after you get past the little scallop section on that tick. So I did want to show that off on this particular example, and then also to kind of show what I meant when I talk about a spot for the index and then a spot for the other four fingers to land. That's really what makes this work so well for me, just pushing that up and having it scalloped a little bit smaller, and you would still be able to have that flair and that style to it, in my opinion. Let's do a couple more. All right, so I wanted to bring out something that had some similar vibes to it, and then something that was just more medium. So the Echo is a little bit more of a medium-sized EDC, and this is what I was talking about. I don't actually even land on the index finger on here. I hang off the back if I do that, but on this one, I just ignore the scallop section completely and grip it with these three fingers and then kind of move up onto this little flat right here. And then what ends up happening is I hang a little bit, but it's still really comfortable. And again, scalloped really well for the ergo. So I do like that. And then I really like the Concept Havorn. I liked that they both have the bolstered pivot, if that's what you want to call it. And then you have the raindrop versus the shred carbon fiber. You got some milling here on the Concept. It's a very good looking knife. You got S35 in instead of S90V. But this one here, again, because it has the one dedicated spot for the index finger, and then the rest here I'm able to fit on it well. And then it is also chamfered very nicely here so that you don't land directly on top of it, even though I'm hanging off the back a little bit. But this is really comfortable and a great looking model. I really like this a ton. I'm affiliates with all of these, and I am because I like a lot of their products and I think they work really well. Unfortunately, though, let's go ahead and grab the scale. We'll weigh it and then we'll wrap up. All right, we got the scale out here. Let's check the weight on the Bergblade Tick. So the Tick's coming in at 4.7, so not bad considering it's over an 8-inch knife. You got, let's call it nearly 50% length back spacer. You got a nice long titanium pocket clip that works really well on here. They did cut some of they milled out some of the scales internally to reduce the weight on it a little bit, so that did help. But you do have a pretty big S90V blade on here, so I'm really not surprised by the weight. I think it's very good. Anytime you can keep it at or under around 50 for a knife of this size with this type of material on it, I think it's very good. It's going to carry very nice. Let me get the scale out of here. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up my score on the Bergblades Tick. If you're new to the channel and you haven't watched before, I grade on a scale of 1 to 10. 1's the worst, 10 is the best. This one here, I like a lot about it. There are a couple of little things that hold it back for me. So on this one, I am going to be at a 7. The biggest thing that holds it back for me is definitely going to be the way that the scallop section lands perfect on my middle finger and then again perfectly on the pinky. I want to hold it here. I don't like this one choked up as much. While it is okay in this position, I still once in a while feel like I'm hitting the edge of the blade here where it starts, and I don't really love that about it. So ergonomically for me, it's a little bit of a miss. The other thing too, while it is scalloped and I haven't really had an issue disengaging the lock bar, especially on the lift or the slide position, I will say that it is a little slick. I almost feel like I need just a touch more left on that lock bar for the thumb. With the bigger hands, I am finding that I slide off of that a little bit. Outside of that, the action is great. The detent is tuned well. They did chamfer this so that you can get away with choking back here. You're just not going to want to, cut into something heavy and dig into it, because it is going to dig into the fingers there, or you're just going to have to figure out how to choke up. I did try to go over top of the flipper tab, and maybe you can remove that because I believe this is internal stop pin. It is. It is internal, but it's not. I can see what they did here. They actually cut a slot away, so the stop pin remains stagnant here, and then there is a cutout slot on the blade that allows it to move and then hits that stop pin. So you could remove that flipper tab, and that could alleviate the problem altogether, because then if you have someone that knows what they're doing, or you know what you're doing, you can actually just have this sit flush with the scale there, and then it's going to be perfect, right? That eliminates the problem altogether, and it will just be a reverse flick fuller deployment, and I can get my thumb in there. It's a little tight, not gonna lie, but again, I do have larger hands, so the smaller your hand gets, the better it'll be. But you would just need to get rid of that flipper tab if you wanted this knife, but you wanted to eliminate that problem. Or again, you know, if you have smaller hands, you might be able to get both fingers in there. I have taken the pinky and ring finger and I start to fit in there, but I still hit a little bit on that scalloped section. I like the design. I think the price is fair for what you're getting. It's not the best price knife out there. I would say like the Havron from Concept probably beats it bang for buck value wise, but I feel like it is a fair price for everything that you're getting here. Excellent build quality, materials are good, the fit and finish is good. I really enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think about the Bergblade Tick down in the comments below, guys. Do you like this one? Do you have it? Do you have the same issues that I have if you have it? If not, kind of give me that feedback down below. I do pass that along when others ask me, because I do get questions long after the video has been published about this, especially since the first batch there wasn't a ton left for people to pick up, so I expect the second run to come. I would just like for version 2 just to either just straight scallop for that, or just move it up and just have it for the ring finger. I think that, I mean the index finger, I think that would be best. Thanks for hanging out to this point. If you enjoyed the video, definitely a like would be appreciated. Comment down below just to say hey if you're not interested in commenting on the Tick today. And again, those links that you use in the description, that helps the channel a ton, and so do those channel memberships that you guys continue to keep going on with. So thank you all for that. It helps. I appreciate it. I'm out of here. I'll catch you next time. I hope you have a great week. Peace.